Welcome, everybody. My name is Carly. I'm going to be moderating today's webinar. Our webinar today is Maintenance Care's Workflow Wonders, Rules and Labels. Lucas, you can take it away.
Well, Carly, thank you very much for the intro there. And I'm going to be taking you all on a journey through the workflow wonders of rules and labels. So we got a nice little title there. Let's go ahead and actually move this on over. And fun fact for you. Did you know the average person spends about 6 months of their life just looking for lost or misplaced items? So that's a lot of time at the end of your life just wasted kind of not having stuff organized. So we're going to try to have some labels today. I'm going to show you how to give your team those valuable months back to their lives. So I'm going to go over the agenda here. We're going to go and cover asset labels, optimize your database by tailoring asset fields to track the specific data that matters most. We're going to go through custom statuses as well, and we're going to create unique statuses that are based on your facility's needs. And I'll show you the possibilities of rules within the system because I said this is labels and rules. And we're going to also show you how to create some rules within your system to see how we're going to have it work best for you and your facility. Okay, let's jump right into it. So, everyone on maintenance care, I feel most of you have your task screen as your home page. So, if we're starting here from our home page here, let's go down to our admin tab. And then we are going to scroll all the way down and we're going to see these two new categories, which with our Volt 4.0 update that happened earlier this year, we added the labels and rules. So let's go ahead and I said we're going to start with labels. So let's click right in there. Within here, you're able to see some familiar categories. If you are using your assets frequently at your location, you might notice that these custom one, custom two, custom three fields usually pop out at you. With any of these fields here, you're actually able to edit them all from this screen here. And to edit them, it's as simple as clicking on them, replacing them with whatever name you like. So if I go and just go here and just type in replaced, and I want that to be the name, I have one more step. I will just have to go in and click Save Changes. Now it's been saved and it will replace custom number one on my assets. If I ever want to reset it, so I have my original default settings, it's as simple as going to this little refresh button, restore defaults, and now it's back to saying custom one. Now I'll actually show you where these labels are affecting. If you're not too familiar with assets, it's a great tab to help boost any productivity at your location. So let's go in here. At mine, there are four separate locations on my demo site. So I'll click La Casa Rosa. That is my own personal one here. Let's scroll down and let's go to this truck, my work truck number one. Let's click right in there. And we're able to see those custom fields over here, which right now just saying custom one, custom two, and custom three, that's not really helping me that much. Of course, depending on what kind of facility you're using, maybe you want to use these for different uses. So as for me, I have a vehicle fleet and these fields kind of look like we got a license plate number, we have a VIN, and we have a driver. Let's go ahead and change those customs. Going back down to the admin tab, going to our labels, and let's go to custom one. So let's say I put that as a license plate. And fun fact for any of the Canadian viewers today, most of you are spelling license like that. I know anybody that's American would be spelling that with an S. Did you know that in Canada, we actually use both? So we use this for any time it's a noun, a physical license, license plate, anything like that. But if you're licensing somebody, then you're going to use it with an S. So that was a fun fact that I figured out while I was doing all these labels. But as for the custom number two over here, we're going to go and just put in VIN. And finally, let's go ahead for custom three and add that as driver. One extra step that I have to do is make sure that these changes are saved. So I'm going to click on each one of these checkboxes to ensure they're saved. And I can tell because they have now grayed out and the refresh has actually turned black. So now I'll be able to go in and actually change it over if I ever want to set it back to defaults. But if I return to my cabinet, go to my assets, I will be able to see now that my truck has those custom labels changed to what I want. So I'll be able to see it says license plate, got my VIN, and I got my driver. So now a lot more straightforward on my asset of what I have in there. And it's great to be able to show my other maintenance staff what's going on. We know this is Lucas's truck. He's responsible for all the repairs on here, and we have his name attached directly to this asset. With any of those labels, you can play around, change them. It does not just have to be the custom ones. But there is one other section within labels, and that's actually where we're going to change the labels of our statuses. So maybe I want to go ahead and have a custom status. As with anything in maintenance care, if you can add something new, there's going to be a blue add button. So if I want to go ahead and add a custom status, I can go in here, add that status label. So if I want something like the one I have currently that says in progress, I will go ahead and type in that status label however I want it to appear within my maintenance care when I'm going and doing my task management. For master status, I'm going to select what kind of status I want it to function like. So if I want it in progress to function like pending, I think that makes the most sense because at my facility, when we pull the ticket, we're going to put it in progress so all the other maintenance staff know that we're already working on this. Nobody else has to assign it to themselves. Great. It's going to function like pending. Maybe if I wanted it to function like delayed, I can set that up as well too. So it will do all the exact same stuff that the delayed status would do. Pending, I think, works best. And to make sure that is active, I will click on active to make sure it will pop up in my list. I am going to go ahead and try to save it here, and it's going to tell me that I cannot because I already have it right here in the system. So I'll show you how it looks. We have it as status label, everything I put in there. Great. Let's go ahead. I'll also select web enabled too, make sure we got all our boxes checked, and let's go to a task. So going back to my task screen here, I'll be able to go in. I have one that says the lights are out. Let's click on there. I'll be able to see that this task was already assigned to me. Great. I want to go in and change my status. And as we can see, in progress is now one of my selectable options. So I can go in here, click in progress, and I can go and, of course, finish off my steps for anybody who doesn't know. Make sure to always do your 3 simple steps of changing your status, changing your duration, and making notes every time. So I'll make a simple note just saying in progress, and I'll click on that me button to give me my digital signature. So if I go ahead and save, we'll see that status is also updated here, saying in progress, and it is also using the same color that the pending status would use as well. So any feature that pending would have, in progress would copy. Going back into our admin settings and going over to our labels, you'll be able to see that I do have quite a few inactive, and to see that is simply from this little active checkbox. But I do have one that was called on order that also functions like pending. If I click on there and I want to reactivate it, and maybe I want to change it. Maybe I want this to function like the delayed task. Let's go ahead here and go switch it to active, and let's web enable it. And now look, it is back in our list ready to use. At any time, I can go and always change any of these names. So if I wanted this to be on order, but I wanted it without a space, I can do that as well. You're able to change and edit them on the fly. But I like the way it looks right now. Let's go and see if we can apply it to another task. Let's go in and let's use that same task that I already started. So we can see maybe it's in progress, but I actually have to go and order a piece for one of these lights. One of these light fixtures fell down. It's broken. I need to go and actually order a part. So I can go ahead and now click on order because it shows up in my list. And we'll see it actually opens up a delayed date. The same way if I was to click on the delayed task, it also opens up a delayed date. They are functioning pretty much the same with a new label. Now I got it on order, and let's go ahead and switch this to November 5th. It's a really beautiful part. It's not coming in till then. It's custom order. We got to wait till November 5th. Let's go ahead and let's just hit save here, and we'll see. We have one last chance to see this before it disappears from our list, since it will not be returning till November 5th. If I go ahead, hit the reload page, it's now gone. If I ever wanted to see it again, I would have to make sure that my calendar matches, and I would go ahead and click on November 5th, and now we'll see it back on my list. Of course, we can wait till November 5th, and our filter will already change every day until then. But those are some of the custom statuses that you can do within maintenance care. Feel free to do whatever works best for you. And anytime I'm going to search on my status in my filters, they are also going to appear here. So I click on in progress, any of my in progress will show up, which of course I already changed mine, so you're not going to see it there. But let's actually move this along and go through some rules. So same kind of idea, we're going to go to the admin tab. Let's scroll down and let's go over to rules. So rules, there's many different things you can do within rules, and I'll show you some examples. So these are some common ones that other facilities do have. One very popular one is the signature line. So these rules are all created custom to however you like. The signature line here, I'll show you how I actually have it laid out. So we have a signature line here. That is what I named it. We have it as active, so it's going to be functioning in our system. If we have it as inactive, we can still have the rule there, save it for later, but it's not going to trigger at all. We set up a trigger. So in this case, I have it so anytime a task gets switched to pending, then it's actually going to add a signature line. So with this here, you'll see that I have my trigger set and I have an action that I want it to perform. So once a task is switched to pending, what's going to happen? So I want it to update my current task. And what I want it to do is I want it to go ahead and add a signature line to it. So it's going to add a signature and date line into the notes, which is great for some people that wanted to have their PDF copies come with a signature line and date line. For outside vendors, you can have that within the system by manipulating this way. So I can actually show you how that feature would work. Let's go in here and let me see if I have a task that would work best for this. We have one test in here. Perfect. Simple test. We have it as new. Nothing's in the system yet. Let's go ahead, switch that over to pending. I'm going to go ahead and hit save right off the bat. And we're going to see it add that signature and date line. So the benefit of having this is now if I go, I'm going to have to switch over my screen share so you can get the full view. If I go ahead and switch to PDF view, you'll be able to see that underneath the notes, it's now added an actual signature and date line. So if you had an outside vendor that was coming in, you wanted them to have a physical copy of your task, if they're not going to have access to your maintenance care, this is a way that you can make sure that they're signing and dating their work as well. So it's another way to keep that for your reporting. But that is one example of how you can use rules. There are endless kind of triggers and other situations that you can have pop up. Doesn't necessarily have to be notes. So if I want to go ahead here and I want to actually switch it over, let's go back to those rules. And I have one that can send off an email. So in here, I just have the rule simply named email. We have the trigger to when a task is equal to a general maintenance. So when that task type is general maintenance, I have it send an email to my email address saying the word test as the subject and the body saying there is a new task in your list. And you can also edit what kind of information you want in here. So if I want the company name, if I want certain task info, maybe I want it to have the total duration that's already been used on the task. Maybe I want it to have a asset also attached to it and asset info. Maybe I want that VIN number as you see those custom labels pop up here. Instead of saying custom 1, custom 2, custom 3, I can already see right off the bat, maybe I want the driver to be added on this email. You'll be able to have this rule, and anytime a general maintenance task comes in, it will be able to send off this email here. Another one as well would be an automatic priority. I do have one here with an electrical priority, and I'll kind of give you a glimpse of what it's doing here. It's basically checking if there is an electrical task within the system, and when that task enters the system, it will go ahead and switch it to an automatic priority for you. I'm actually going to show you how to build that. So this is a very simple one. Let's go ahead. Like I said, anywhere else in maintenance care, you see a blue add button. That means you can add some more to it. So let's go and add a new rule. So we got to start with a name. So let's go with fire prio. So it's going to be a priority whenever there is a fire task within the system. So actually, let's go and switch that to gen. We'll go with general so that we have that automatically. You can see right off the bat, anytime a general maintenance task enters the system, it will be a priority. Just as we have here, we select our trigger, and we're going to go ahead and select what kind of trigger we want it to be based off of. We can have it based off of a part, a task, an asset, a transaction, or a debt set. I want this directly from a task. So we want it from a task. And for field, what do we want it as? So do we want the task status? Do we want who the task is assigned to? Where the room is on this task, where the building is on this task, the duration, the task class, the task type, or the priority. So I want this as the task type because I want it specifically to only happen with my general maintenance tasks. I'll select an operator. So when general maintenance tasks equals or when they do not equal. For this case, I want it when they equal, and I want it anytime a task equals a general maintenance task. Now I gotta select my action. What I want to happen when a task is a general maintenance task. So let's go in and we can trigger a PM. So we can have a PM trigger automatically for us. Not what we're looking for here. We can send an email, which I showed you what you can have based on that last rule. Update current task. This is what we're going to be looking for here because I'm not wanting to create a new task, get a bunch of random work orders pop in to my system. I want to update the one that's already there. We can create a new task from it. So maybe if this was something where I wanted to have multiple tasks string off of this rule, I could do that, or I can add a transaction automatically. Let's go ahead and update that current task. Status, let's go ahead and let's put it as anytime that a task equals general maintenance when it comes into the system, I want it to still remain new. I still want it to be new within the system, but the priority, I want to say, yes, it's going to automatically select priority for me. And then we are going to leave that task type as general maintenance. And we also can already assign a vendor directly from here. So if I wanted to go ahead and let's go add Danny DeVito's handyman service. Let's add that directly to here. And I also want to automatically assign myself to any of these tasks. I can also add a note here saying, hello, this rule worked. This rule works, and we can go ahead and save. So we have that within our system. Perfect. We can see Gen Prio. If I click on it, it's laid out the same way that everything else was. We just added a little more information. Now let's go and actually create a task. And for anybody that's unaware of it, you can actually create tasks directly from your maintenance here. It doesn't necessarily have to be from your request page. You can do it here as long as you have an account. So blue add button, and go in here. I'm going to select the correct facility. Let's make sure La Casa Rosa. And let's go put a general maintenance task in. And with that being said, let's go and put the comments. There's a leak in the help. There is a leak in the hallway. Perfect. Let's go ahead and save. And you can see already off the bat, it's highlighted yellow. Our rule worked. It already made it a priority. But if I click inside, we'll be able to see that priority. Yes. Hello, this rule works. That automatically appeared. We can see that the vendor, Danny DeVito Handyman Service, was automatically added, and it was automatically assigned to me as well, too. All of that has happened directly from that rule. So with any of these rules, they're all based on what you need most at your facility. So I do recommend go around, play around with these rules, see what works for you. Something as simple as having a vendor automatically assigned a certain task if you have vendors deal with those certain tasks. That might be a great way to start off. But that was my webinar, and I will open up the floor now for those questions. Let's go and actually
Yeah.
switch this over to Carly. Any questions so far?
We have four so far.
Okay, let's hear them.
All right. So, um, an anonymous attendee says, "Are custom labels only for assets?"
For the custom labels, yes, for the top portion there. So if I go back to those labels, these custom labels up top here will only be affecting anything with assets. As you saw, even on other screens, it doesn't necessarily have to be on the asset screen, but it only affects those assets. As you can see, make, model, I can also change those as well too. Anything else within the labels would be affecting the statuses. So custom labels here, assets, custom statuses down here, affecting those statuses.
Awesome. Can you hide or remove the master status if you use a custom label?
Hide or remove the custom, so the master status. At this moment, no, you are not able to, but that is actually something that is a good idea. I can go ahead and follow up with that because, of course, if you are switching what you want it to say, then maybe you don't need use for that original master status.
Do the custom status labels transfer over to mobile app with icons?
Yes, the custom statuses should be also available on your IM Care app.
And will this be available to review after the fact? I'd like to rewatch it.
Yes, we are having these all uploaded to our YouTube channel, so make sure to check us out on Maintenance Care on YouTube. Any of these webinars will be edited and uploaded there.
Amazing. No more questions in the box. If anybody else has any questions, feel free to write them in the
Yeah,
Q&A box.
I will switch over the screen while we are having the Q&A session. So yeah, at this point, if anybody has any other question, feel free to put them in that Q&A box, and we'll try as best to get answers for you.
Maybe while we're waiting, Lucas, you can tell them about the next webinar coming up.
The next webinar coming up, I believe that is, let me
I have
double
it here.
check that you have it
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Okay.
It's with Andreas and it's preventative maintenance 101.
Perfect. So that'll be, do we have the date already set for that one?
Yeah, that is September 2nd.
September 2nd. So if you're looking for some preventative maintenance kind of tips and anything else, Andreas will be hosting that here. Same idea. If you end up missing it, it will also be uploaded to our YouTube channel.
Okay, we have one more question come in.
Perfect.
Is there is there planned implementation for separate custom fields based on asset class?
Based on asset class. So you're saying basically two, like if one asset class uses certain labels and another asset class can use other custom labels. If I'm understanding that, there's, I don't know of anything in that process, but that's something we can definitely bring up to the team and see how feasible that would be. But that is a great suggestion. But for right now, yeah, anytime you change a label, it is going to change every single asset at your facility with that same label. If you have multiple facilities, multiple licenses, then each one would have their own, they should have their own label field.
I actually have a question in the chat.
Mhm.
It's a little bit different. Has the assignment issue been resolved for work orders that are assigned from the app? That has been resolved, actually. So make sure you guys, is a good PSA to update your IM Care apps, update them or uninstall, reinstall, because there was an update late last week that resolved that issue.
Perfect.
Uh,
Well said.
sorry. Yeah. One more. Do the custom labels come through on the reporting?
Custom labels should come through on the reporting. Same thing if you are searching by pending, it should pull in also those in progress. But if you have those separated out, you would be able to still see those specifically on reporting. But if you are, like I said, anything where you're searching for the master status, you can also pull up that custom status too.
That's all I have.
Perfect. Well, 12:30, that's almost perfect timing there. So I guess we'll go ahead and thank you all for joining in, asking your questions, and watching the webinar. But for anybody that wanted to rewatch it, we will have that uploaded on our YouTube channel. And I guess stay tuned for September when Andreas has the next webinar with Preventative Maintenance 101. Well, thank you very much, everyone that joined in, and I hope you all have a great day.
Have a good one.